heard you say media is broken. What do you mean by that? Where do you go with that?
I mean, you know it's true, right? Like, it just, the media is so messed up right now.
Yes.
It's disheartening to me. And I've felt this way for a long time, not just since Trump. And I know, Trump's rhetoric is too strong, the enemy of the people and all that. And I know why he says it. There are still amazing journalists out there doing great work. But the media is completely biased. And what's happened now, as I look at the country...
Biased politically?
Oh, 100%. Yes. They're biased.
You work for Fox News.
Oh,
I think there's another side to the story.
Of course, Bill, of course. But Fox News was born and did so well because it was the only voice offering the other side of the coin.
So here we are today with Real Time with Bill Maher. And as you can see, he's interviewing Megyn Kelly. And they're going to have a little talk about media and media bias. Let's see what they have to say here.
And the rest of the media was biased toward the left.
You know what the media is biased towards? Money. They're biased toward money and conflict because that's what sells. I don't think... I was watching the Virginia rally this week. There was a gun rally. It was peaceful. And you could see how disappointed the media was that the Civil War didn't break out.
Right, of course.
Yeah, pretty interesting point there from Bill Maher. Of course, yes, with the media, it is all about the money. I think the pretense that they're just there to report the facts disappeared a long time ago. Of course, any business is in business to make money, even well before the internet. All the big newspapers, they wanted to sell advertising, sell subscriptions, but more importantly, sell advertising in their newspapers and in magazines and all that. So yes, they all had typically a bias of some sort politically, but it just seems to be greatly accelerated with the internet and with social media. That just seems how I see it, but I've been around a long time. But the basics remain the same, as Bill Maher said.
That's what I think the media bias is, much more than politics.
No, because, look, I think there was a liberal slant in the media even before Trump got in there, but he went in there and now, like, take CNN. He came in there and said, CNN is completely biased to the left. They're lefties. They're completely against me. And my take on it was, in the beginning, he was wrong. CNN wasn't that way. I used to watch CNN all the time when I was at Fox. When I was getting ready for the Kelly File, I'd have on CNN, and I'd watch a lot of their shows. And I like a lot of the anchors over there. But my view is, CNN became the thing Trump said they were and they weren't, and now they are. Now they're indistinguishable from MSNBC.
But you have to admit, it's very hard to cover a guy like Trump who does awful things.
Yeah.
Oh, you do agree?
No, I agree. Yes, of course.
Okay. Well, then you're going to look left-wing.
No.
Because you're saying, you know what?
Totally wrong. I totally disagree with you. Look, when I was on doing the Kelly File, primetime, 9 p.m. on Fox News, he was attacking me for 9 months straight, right? Saying outrageous things. It took everything in me to go out on the set night after night and not make it personal and not have a vendetta against him and not be overly harsh on him because of what he was doing to me and my family. But I did it. It's doable. You just have to remember, it's not about you.
Right.
It's about the audience and the truth.
So here, okay, and you know what? What's great?
Well, Megyn Kelly really, she actually managed to get Bill Maher to shut up there for a second and to agree. And she's right. I don't remember that particular period when Trump was attacking her personally, but it doesn't surprise me. Trump attacks anybody, or anybody and everybody who he deems to be. Basically, Trump is one of these guys. You say anything about him, he's going to say something about you. He's going to punch back. He's not just going to tap you back. He's going to hit you hard. That's just the way he is.
Right is, I keep saying all year long, you can hate Trump. You can't hate the people who like him.
Yeah, I've heard you say that.
We can disagree and still be friends. We have a lot in common. We were both shit-canned by major broadcast networks. I was shit-canned by ABC. You were shit-canned by NBC. Yeah. It's not the worst thing in the world that happens to you. And I tell you, when that happened to you, I was angry for you, honestly, because this cancel culture, it's so funny. When they do polls, they find like 80 to 90% of the people in this country hate this shit.
Yep.
Even liberals hate this shit.
That's
they
right.
hate this is one reason why Trump got elected, because people hate political correctness so much that they'll even take it in the mouth of a werewolf like that when he's not politically correct.
Because he's a fighter, and they
Right,
see
he's a
this is the
fighter, and
package
he's-
that comes in.
Right. But when individual instances come up, everybody is so afraid to stand up. I mean, you even apologized for something that I didn't think was that awful. It's like, why can't you just say, okay, I was a little inartful about how I expressed that. My bad. I'm sorry. Move on with our lives. Instead of, no, you have to go away for all time.
Well,
Yeah, very good point there. Bill Maher is being very reasonable, being quite honest. I can't remember. I do remember when Megyn Kelly was fired. Perhaps somebody can let me know in the comments. I can't remember why. She obviously said something which was a bit slightly politically incorrect. And of course, normally, you get a reprimand, and if you're working for a company, you got to follow their rules. And if their rules say you can't say this kind of thing, okay, fair enough, you can't say it. Especially if you're on air and representing that company. But yeah, this whole idea where people try to get you fired from your job and, prevent you from making a living because they don't like you, that is, I would say, relatively recent and much more common than it ever used to be. And it's just not acceptable. And people should just say, well, basically, I don't mind. See what you think of this. I don't actually mind if somebody hates me and tries to get me fired, but my boss should then have the balls to say, no, screw off, This is nothing to do. I'm not going to fire my valuable employee, or I'm not going to fire this person just because they upset you. That's what these companies should be saying instead of kowtowing to the mob.
well,
Who are these perfect people who have never made any mistake?
I mean, my own take on it is the country's going through something right now. The marginalized groups are rising up and trying to find positions at the table, equal positions, and that's a good thing. The difference is in approach. How do we do it? And I understand this fight because as a woman and somebody who's been in the position I was in that we talked about, I have also felt marginalized at times and like I don't have an equal footing. But the question is, do we do it with grace and humanity and understanding that people make mistakes and that we're all imperfect and we're going to screw up maybe more than once?
And charity.
Right, and kindness and an understanding that we're all only here for a limited time and we can't expect a perfect score of any.
Well, there we go. Yeah, exactly. Fair enough. Let he who is without sin cast the first stone, basically. It's, of course, leftists, progressives and all that will say, well, you have free speech, but, you have freedom of speech, but not freedom from consequences. They'll say that sort of thing. Well, yeah, it's true. In the real world, for example, if you start talking shit to some guy, you might just find instead of just taking it, he'll punch you back. This is the real world. But people, again, we're talking, on the internet or on TV, somebody says something that the woke crowd or the leftist crowd doesn't like. And it's not just from the left either. It happens to, back when I was young in the 80s, there was the moral majority. So this kind of finger wagging and pearl clutching came from, the religious right, I think they used to call it. Excuse me. And, it's just, it's a bad look. I mean, it's one thing to protest, but to really try and get somebody fired from their job and to destroy their ability to make a living, to even attempt to do that is quite evil, I think. So let me know what you think in the comments below. And in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really does help me. It really helps me grow the channel and continue making content for you.